Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another 10 currently inked pens. So let's go through these briefly. We have the TWSBI VAC 700R. We have an Omas Ogiva Cocktail, and this is the Blue Angel. We have an Omas Paragon Arte Italiana in the Arco Brown, and this is the Grande. We have an Armando Simoni Club, and this is the Il Gladiator or Gladiatori. We have a Visconti, this is the Manhattan Arco limited edition. We have a Scribo Fill in the Verde Prato. We have a Scribo Fill in the Verde Bosco. We have an Armando Simoni Club Bologna Extra Black Gold Lucents. We have a Leonardo Momento Zero in the Mediterraneo, and then we have a Leonardo Momento Zero in the Hawaii. So let's go through these pens in a little bit more detail now. So this is the TWSBI VAC 700R. So this is the rebranded version, or the slightly modified version of the 700. Now this is a pen that I actually avoided getting for a long period of time, and I put it on my Christmas list in 2018, and it arrived at Christmas for me. And the reason why I've had a number of TWSBI Diamond 580 ALs, and the thing that put me off was, you can see here that this starts to taper down this barrel slightly, and that's what put me off, with the barrel being a little bit more thinner than what the 580 was. But to be honest, I really do like this. I do find the section is a little bit on the smaller or thinner side for me, though. I would prefer a slightly thicker section, but this really is actually a nice pen. So this comes with a steel nib like most TWSBIs do, but it's a broad nib on this one, but I do like it a lot. And I find that I do tend to write with this quite a lot. I have been writing with it this week, and this is a pen that, because I like it because it actually holds a lot of ink. And then we have the Omas Ogiva Cocktail, and this is the Blue Angel, named after the Blue Angel Cocktail, and this is an original Omas. It's a piston filling pen, and you might be able to see here that the ink is up to here, and then you have the piston mechanism. Now, I do like this pen because it does come with a beautiful 52 degree nib, and I know the first thing that most people ask me is, what's a 52 degree nib? Well, it's actually quite easy, because a 52 degree nib is a nib ground at 52 degrees. A normal writing angle is about 45 degrees, and this just means that you get a little bit more of a zoom-like nib, a little bit more of a different grind, different angle, so you get a little bit more of a marker sort of writing experience out of this nib. But this really is a beautiful nib. I like the ribbed sort of context there on the cap and the body. I am missing a little bit of flaking here on the clip on this one. That's something that does happen a lot on plated clips sometimes, especially Omas's as well. It's not a new thing, it's something that has happened a lot in the past, but that doesn't bother me. It's a beautiful pen and I love it, but it does go through ink very, very quickly. And then I have this Omas, and this is obviously an Arco Brown. This is a beautiful material here. You can see how it just reflects in the light. But that material is gorgeous. And this is the Arte Italiana, and this is the Grande version. It has a medium 18 karat gold nib, and as you can see there, most Paragons don't normally have a gold section, but the Arte Italiana versions did have a gold section, and I can always have difficulty trying to line those patterns up. Now this is a piston filling mechanism. It's an 18 karat gold nib, and it's a nib that I love writing with. So I've been bringing out some of my Arco again lately and inking them up, and this is the lovely Armando Simone Club, and this is the Il Gladiator or Il Gladiatore, and this has a Greek keyband here. I picked this up from Sarge, the one-man pen show in March 2019. This was at the London pen show, but this again is a lovely Arco material here. Again, it just speaks to me, and you can see here inside of my hand it's quite a hefty pen. I love this chocolate coated nib. It's a beautiful coated nib there, and that to me is very, very nice. But in the size of my hand, it's a really good size. This is a piston filling mechanism as well, so that is really good. And I'll show you the feed as well. And you can see the feed here is a beautiful aluminium feed, but that really is a gorgeous pen. So, can I get this to line up? There you go. It's just getting the right amount of reverse clicks to line that up. And then we have the lovely Visconti, and this is the Manhattan Arco. And again, this is a lovely, stunning Arco. And if I rotate that, you'll see here, this is beautiful material. So in terms of the size of my hand, this is actually really quite nice. Comes within one of the newer 18 karat gold nibs, and this is from the Visconti nib. So this is when they've changed from palladium to gold. I'm not, unfortunately, a fan of these nibs. This nib writes very, very narrow, very, very dry. The medium nib in it actually writes more like a fine nib. I don't mind writing with it, but it's not sort of... I have fine nibs, I have some extra fine nibs, but I find that I prefer more medium and broad nibs. If I could have a much wider nib on that one, I would. I may actually open the tines up a little bit more on that one to make it write wetter, but it's still quite a narrow nib for me. Then we have the Scribo Fill, and this is the Verde Prato, and this is a beautiful material. I really do love this material. It's a lovely sort of like, almost like a khaki green. But it's a beautiful material, and the reason why I love these Scribos more is not only is it a piston filling pen, but you have a lovely 14 karat flex nib. This is the Omas OM81 nib, but that really is a gorgeous nib to write with. So for me, that is a beautiful, beautiful pen, and you can see here you have the Scribo logo there on the cap finial. Now these do not post. And then we have the Verde Bosco from Scribo, and again this is the Scribo Fill. So this is a darker green, but again it's a green that I like a lot. This one actually has ruthenium black trims on. This one has a rose gold trim on, but this is beautiful. So for me, this is a pen again that I like writing with. So for me, it really is a nice pen, and you can see here that not only the rose gold trim, but also the rose gold nib there as well, and the ebonite feed. So these are very nice pens to write with, and people ask me why I like these Scribo nibs, and it's purely because of the bounce and the flexiness of these nibs. This is a 14 karat gold medium nib, same as the previous pen, but they do have some flex and do have some bounce. Now I won't overflex these nibs. I have actually overflexed a nib before and sprung the tines, not on a Scribo thankfully, but it's just something I'm a little bit more wary of now. So I try and I will flex them when I write, but I will not overflex them. And it's trying to work out what is the part of when you overflex them. Now this is another beautiful pen. This is the Armando Simone Club, and this is the Bologna Extra, and it's the black gold Lucents. And this is a beautiful pen. It's a lovely honey sort of gold look with also transparent areas, so you can actually see the pneumatic filler behind it. And when I say that, I will show you. It is inked up, but it needs you, when you push it back in, you need to put your finger over the hole for it to eject ink or suck ink out. And there you go. So you can see this here, and if I push it in, you can just see that there. So be careful not to put my finger over that hole, because I don't want ink all in the cap of this pen. But this is again a stunning pen, and I do like these nibs. These are the Magic Flex nibs. So this is an 18 karat gold nib from Bock that Armando Cimenti Club are using, with a massive feed there, ebonite feed. But that really is a lovely pen. You have the Greek keyband there as well. But this for me is the right size, the right weight, good ink capacity, lovely writing nib, and for me that is a beautiful pen to write with. So I love writing with those. And then we have the Leonardo, and this is the full name is a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero Mediterraneo. Now this is the Mediterraneo, so this actually has a gold nib on it, and it has a piston, and it's celluloid as well. But you can see here this material is absolutely captivating. Now, there are other pen manufacturers that have actually made pens out of this material, and Montegrappa has been one of them, but this material really is a lovely material. Now, you'll find here the nib, it's a lovely gold nib there. It's a medium nib with an ebonite feed, but you'll see here in the size of my hand that this is actually quite a good size. The only thing that I do find with these Leonardos is that the sections tend to be a little bit narrow for me. So if I'm holding it here, I prefer a thicker section, more girthier section. But I can still write with these, and I tend to actually write with these up a little bit higher, so where the section actually more on the threads here sort of gradients out a little bit more. But this for me is a nice writing pen. It's a medium nib. And then last but not least, we have again another Leonardo, and this is again the Officina Italiana Momento Zero, and this is the Hawaii version. And I picked this up in March 2019 at the London Pen Show, and this really is a lovely pen. So I do like this a lot. Again, the section is a little bit on the narrow side. It's a cartridge converter. It's a steel broad nib on here, but it again in the size of my hand, it's quite good. You can post these caps. I don't post them. It is a cartridge converter, this one, so you can access the converter here. And the other thing that Leonardo do, which is the same thing that they used to do when the Matronis were at Delta, is that you've got a blind cap, so you can access the converter there if you don't want to unscrew the whole body. I never really see the reason behind that, but I guess you can do that if you wanted to. But this material really is quite stunning. So for me, again, this is another pen that I've had it inked up this week. So I think with that, let's go and do a writing sample. So the first pen we have, we'll do an ink swatch, but this is the TWSBI. Now this is using a sheening ink, and hopefully you'll see it here in a little bit, but this is the TWSBI VAC 700R, and it is a broad nib, so it's a broad and it's a steel nib. And the ink in here is diamine, and it's a Colt Pens version because it's a retailer exclusive, and it's Robert. And it's a red ink that actually sheens a little bit more greeny gold. But it's an ink that I do like a lot. Then we have this one. If I zoom in a little bit more so you can see it. This is a very fat nib. You can just see there how fat that is. It is like a marker or a felt tip pen. So this is the Omas Ogiva, and it's the Blue Angel Cocktail. So it's the Cocktail Blue Angel, or Blue Angel Cocktail, and it's a 52 degree nib, and it's an 18 karat gold nib. And then the ink in here is Pelican Edelstein, and it's sapphire, which is actually quite a lovely blue ink, quite a bright blue ink. Then we have this pen, and again it's another Omas. So this is again a pen and a nib that I like writing with a lot. It's a very wet nib. So this is an Omas, and it is the Arte Italiana Paragon Grande, and it has a medium 18 karat gold nib. And then the ink in here is Akamon SBRE brown. But that for me is a beautiful pen, and it's a pen that I like writing with a lot. And I haven't written with it a lot recently. And the same for this pen, so I decided I had to get these pens out and start writing with them. So this is the Armando Simone Club, and again this can be a wet nib, quite a fire hose of a nib. So it's the Armando Simone Club, and it's the Il Gladiator or Gladiatore, and it is a medium 18 karat gold nib, but it's a chocolate coated or chocolate brown coated nib. And the ink in here again is Akamon SBRE brown. And I do typically have that inked up in most of my Arco brown nibs, or pens I should say, because that is a colour that I think matches the Arco brown a lot. And then we have this Visconti, and you'll see here that this is a medium nib, but it actually writes for me more like a fine nib, and it really is just a very dry nib. But you can see there it is actually an interesting nib. So this is a Visconti, and it is the Manhattan Arco, and it is a medium, and it is an 18 karat gold nib, but it is quite a dry nib, and you can see that there. The ink in here is Akamon SBRE brown, so you can see the difference there in the colour of that ink is quite different. But for me, it's a pen that I like, but I haven't been writing a lot with, so I decided to get it out and start writing with it again. And then we have the Scribo Feel, and this, you'll see here, is a much wetter medium nib, and it just really writes much better. So, or much wetter, I should say. When I say better, for me it's wetter. So, this is the Scribo Feel, and this is the Verde Prato in a medium 18 karat gold nib, and the ink in here is Pilot, Iroshizuku, Chiku, Rin. And actually I put 18, it's actually a 14 karat gold nib, not an 18 karat gold, because it's the flex nib. And then we have another Scribo Feel, and this is again a wet writing nib. You can just see that there, it just is very wet. So this is the Scribo Feel Verde. Oops. I've got some hand oil on the paper there, and this is the Bosco, and it's a medium 14 karat gold nib. And the ink in this one is Akamon, and it's Bazuden Woodgrown. But again, that's a green ink that I like a lot. And then we have this other lovely pen, and this is the Armando Simone Club. So we'll do another ink swatch. And again, this is a wet pen or wet nib, but not too wet. So it's an Armando, it's a Simone Club, Bologna Extra. Oops. Again, that's hand oil there. And it's the black and gold Lucians with an the medium 18 karat gold nib, and the ink in here is KWZ Honey, and that is an ink that I do like. KWZ Honey, sort of a golden browny sort of honey colour. And then we have this Leonardo, and this is the gold nib version and celluloid version of the Leonardo. So this is the Leonardo, I'm going to put Momento Zero, and it is the Mediterraneo. And it's a medium, and it's, I think it's a 14 karat gold. Yeah, it's a 14 karat gold nib. Although quite a rigid nib for 14 karat, at least to what I'm used to anyway. And the ink in here is Roberts Oster, and it's Australian Sky Blue. But that's a lovely turquoisey ink that I like. And then last but not least, we have the final Leonardo. Now this is a broad nib, so it does write a lot broader. The ink is quite a wet ink as well, but also this nib is quite a wet writer. So it's a Leonardo Momento Zero and it's the Hawaii, and it's a broad steel nib. And the ink in here is Robert Oster, and it's blue, water, ice. So I think let's just read through these pens that are inked up again one more time. We have a TWSBI VAC 700R in a broad steel nib, inked up with Diamine Cult Pens Robert. We have an Omars Ogiva Cocktail Blue Angel with a 52 degree 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Pelican Edelstein Sapphire. We have an Omars Arte Italiana Paragon Grande in a medium 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Akamon SBRE Brown. We have an Armando Simoni Club Il Gladiatore in a medium 18 karat gold nib, inked up again with Akamon SBRE Brown. We have a very fine coloured Visconti Manhattan Arco medium 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Akamon SBRE Brown. We have a Scribo Fill Verde Prato in a medium 14 karat gold flex nib, inked up with Pilot Iroshizuku Chikurin. We have a Scribo Fill in the Verde Bosco, and this is a medium 14 karat gold flex nib, inked up with Akamon Bazuden Woodgrown. We have an Armando Simoni Club, and this is the Bologna Extra Black and Gold Lucents with a medium 18 karat gold nib, inked up with KWZ Honey. We have a Leonardo Momento Zero Mediterraneo in a medium 14 karat gold nib, inked up with Robert Oster Australian Sky Blue. And then finally we have a Leonardo Momento Zero Hawaii with a broad steel nib, inked up with Robert Oster Blue Water Ice. So there you have it. That's my currently inked pens for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.